Hey guys, plant-based in the boonies here, just giving you a little bit of a video here of what some of the essential gadgets that you want to have in your kitchen to make things easier cooking. Um, what I like to use, what I don't have, I can't show you. So um, first, let's start out with the basics, and these are what you normally would have. Um, I like to have a pair of kitchen shears because those are good for opening up bags and things. And then you got to have a good set of knives. And depending on what you want, you can go for the cheaper pressed knives, which is fine, or you can go with the forged steel knives, which are better quality. This happens to be a chef's knife that I bought when I had my first apartment way back when, and I still use it to this day pretty much on a weekly basis, if not more. You got to have a good bread knife, a nice serrated bread knife. Um, those work really good. Got to have a paring knife, and you got to have a nice serrated tomato knife. If you like tomatoes sliced up on a sandwich or something, then you can use this, and it cuts really good. Um, Oops, there we go. That goes in like that. And when you're using the knives, you got to have a good cutting board. Now this one happens to be plastic. You can get glass or wood or whatever kind you like. I just happen to like the plastic. And this one happens to have a stabilizing ridge here where it holds onto the table or wherever you're cutting. Another thing that everybody needs is a can opener. Can openers, this one happens to go lengthwise or over the top like that to make sure there's no sharp edges. Or you could get one like that opens like that with the old-fashioned, or you can use an electric one, which we don't have, and I don't plan on getting one. There's a lot of other things out there. Something like measuring spoons. If you're going to do any kind of baking or following recipes, you want to make sure that you have a good set of table measuring spoons. This one happens to go from 1/8 of a teaspoon all the way up to 2 tablespoons, and that's a good one. Measuring cups. Now there's two kinds you can get. This one is for a wet. These are for dry ingredients. If you're measuring out things, if you want accuracy for baking because you need it, that's a good thing to do, is to have the actual thing. Or if you really want to get accurate when you're baking, you can get a scale, and then you can measure it out per pound, per ounce, per gram, whatever you like. Something that we always use is a box grater or a grater of some sort. This happens to be one of the best graters I've ever had, and it might be old, it might look not so nice, but it sure works good on cutting the cabbage or the carrots or whatever you're shredding. Another thing you might want to have is a couple of different kinds of tongs. Tongs. These are good for turning things. If you're out on the grill, you can turn steaks or corn on the cob, which is really good on the grill. And if you have a non-stick pan, you definitely want to have something like this where it's non-stick, silicone coated, so that it doesn't scratch your surface, so it makes your pans ineffective. We've got several different whisks. This one happens to be our medium size. It's very nice to get in there and whip up different things, clean up, make batters good. If you're going to make cookies and you want them uniform, or meatballs or wheat balls or whatever you want to call them, you got to have a scoop. And this one's a small scoop, and then here's a slightly larger one. Those are good for making precision amounts of things. Now there's a lot of different things in this, which is my tool caddy. Every Saturday we have our pizza, so you got to have a pizza cutter. If you don't have a pizza cutter, it's no good. It makes it hard to cut the pizzas, but if Then you can have a pie server. This one happens to have a serrated edge on it, and that's nice. Rubber scrapers. When you're mixing something or whatever, trying to get something out of a bowl, use one of these to get every last drop. Why? Because nowadays everything's more expensive, as we know. Wooden utensils, these happen to be bamboo, but I mean, we got spatulas or scrapers. We got wooden spoons. Wooden spoons are great for mixing up things in non-stick pans so that they don't scratch. We have a bunch of different kinds of spoons, whether they're plastic, wooden, or metal. This happens to be a slotted spoon where you can scoop things out. That's something that's really good to have. Spatula. This one happens to be the one that you use for a non-stick pan so that you don't scratch the surface. If you want, you can get a nicer one for the grill outside. And what I have is something like this, which is actually industrial kind that I use on the grill for our hamburgers or the juicy marble steaks that we had just for my birthday the other day. Those were really good. That works really good for that. Now, we also have this, which is a scoop and strain, where you can dip out things and whatever. Since we are on a plant-based, starch-based type diet, we do have to have a good potato masher. Mash up those potatoes so that they're good to eat. Or if you want something to make it a little more chunky, you can use something like this, which is a mix and chop. Show that to you a little bit closer. That's something where you just put it in the pan. And because these are both silicone or plastics, they don't scratch your non-stick pans again, which is always good. Some of the other things in here that we use quite often are our ladles. Ladle out the soups or the stews or chilies. And here's something, I've never seen it before until I got one. It's called a kitchen-majig. This works really good for straining out carrots and potatoes if you're going to make a cheese sauce like we do. I use this to get those veggies out and then put them in the blender. If you ever have if you have toast in the morning and the toast gets stuck, or a bagel or something, don't use a fork. Use a little thing of bamboo tongs. That'll work, and then you won't get electrocuted. Here's something that we have that I haven't used that often, but we got something because it was on the some of the videos that we've seen. It's a Tovolo scraper, and it's kind of a harder scraper here and kind of a bold silicone one here. These work really good for scraping out containers, or if you have a small blender or something, you can use that to get things in there. You can also use that, looks like, as a spreader, spread things around. And that's about everything that we have to look at, except for the main things, except there's a few other things that I like to show. One is this can strainer. I like to use this for canned veggies, whether it's corn or beans or some of the oriental vegetables like bamboo shoots or water chestnuts. That works really good for putting in the can and stopping it. And then we also have an egg slicer. Obviously, we don't eat eggs, but we can eat, we can slice different things like strawberries or black olives or mushrooms, anything that you want in a nice even slice. That's what I like to use that for. And I'm going to come back sometime and show you some other different things. Hopefully this has been helpful. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and please subscribe, and you'll see some more videos coming up soon.